Uzbekistan, blue-tiled domes, Silk Road bazaars and cities that feel like they belong in a storybook. This was the part of my Central Asia trip I was most curious about. A country I barely knew, except that it carried centuries of history. My journey begins in Tashkent, the capital. On Broadway Street, vendors sell funky Soviet memorabilia. It's a mix of Soviet nostalgia and modern energy. A short walk away is the Amir Timur statue. Timur is everywhere here. He was a Turco-Mongol conqueror who founded the Timurid Empire, which ruled much of modern Afghanistan, Iran and Central Asia. Undefeated in battle, he's remembered as both a brilliant tactician and a brutal one. The next morning we dive into Chorsu Bazaar, one of the oldest continuously operating markets in Central Asia. Inside, mountains of spices, dried fruit, vegetables and meat. Markets are a big part of Central Asian life, and this one is a must. The stalls are often run by multiple generations, passing down skills like pottery or textile work. Good morning from a market in Tashkent. Today I'm taking you on a full day tour around the city.
It's raisin.
Thanks. It's right up. Very good raisins. We even get a glimpse how bread is made in Uzbekistan. Uzbek naan is a round flatbread baked on the hot walls of a clay tandoor oven. The male bakers decorate it with a patterned stamp, called a chekik, and sometimes add seeds on top. It's a simple traditional bread that symbolizes hospitality in Uzbek culture. A short ride on the Tashkent metro takes us underground into what feels like an art museum. The first woman to ever be in space. Pretty cool! Ooh, and it's a very popular station for photos. After our quick stops at the metro, I'm at the Museum of Railway Techniques. At the quirky railway museum, you can climb old Soviet locomotives. Then we're off to the Plov Center. Plov is the national dish, made with rice, meat and carrots, and is cooked in massive metal pans. We make a quick stop at the Tashkent TV tower for views over the city. Next stop, Samarkand, home to a giant Soviet-era solar furnace, a curved mirror system that looks both futuristic and abandoned. It was built in the late 1970s to 1980s by the Soviet Union for research on heat-resistant materials. Today it's used for experiments to see how materials behave in extreme heat, using only sunlight. From there we drive into the mountains of Yangyabad, a former secret mining town. Yangyabad wasn't even on maps during the Soviet period. Now it's quiet, overgrown and surrounded by green hills. Uzbekistan is the 8th largest cotton producer in the world. They call it white gold. During Soviet times, children didn't even start school until the cotton was picked. Thankfully, conditions have improved, but most of the cotton is still harvested by hand. The country is also rich in natural gas, gold and minerals, and tourism is growing fast. Then comes Samarkand. We begin at the Registan Square, where 3 enormous turquoise-tiled madrasas stand side by side. Samarkand was the heart of the Silk Road, once a place for markets, royal announcements and even public executions. Registan means sandy place, but today it's one of the most breathtaking sights in Central Asia. Around 90% of the population in Uzbekistan are Sunni Muslims. In addition, there are Shia Muslims, mainly in Bukhara and Samarkand. About 8% are Russian Orthodox. At the Bibi Khanum Mosque, Timur built a masterpiece in honor of his wife, but the architect supposedly fell in love with her and secretly kissed her, a love triangle that, according to legend, cursed the mosque. In many families, and especially in rural areas, the youngest son is expected to stay at home and care for his parents for life, even after marriage. Many marriages are still arranged, and traditional gender roles are powerful. Women often have fewer rights, and culturally, the husband's word is usually final. Uzbek is the official language, but Russian is widely spoken. The local currency is Uzbek som, and since $1 is roughly 12,000 som, withdrawing cash can make you feel like a millionaire. In the evening, the Registan light show paints the square in colors. A little cheesy, sure, but still pretty spectacular. After a day in Samarkand, we take the train to Bukhara, one of the best preserved Islamic cities in Central Asia and a major Silk Road center for over 2,000 years. We start at Liabi Haus Square, a peaceful square built around an old pond. Haus means pond. Bukhara once had over 200 of them, before many were drained. Locals have gathered here for centuries, drinking tea and chatting under the mulberry trees. Walking through the old town feels like stepping back in time. The Ark, a royal town within a town, is Bukhara's oldest structure. It was home to the rulers of Bukhara for over a millennium. The Ark fortress was the site of battles, diplomacy, and executions. Bukhara is a city of artisans, wood carvers, metalworkers, and weavers. In cities like Samarkand, Bukhara, and Khiva, the markets are full of bright, embroidered textiles such as pillows, bags, and jackets. These colorful items are part of an old Central Asian tradition called Susani embroidery. Embroidery is one of the world's oldest crafts. It has changed very little over time, because it only needs simple tools and careful handwork.
In the city, you can see also a lot of artificial threads, which is viscose polyester, but you can feel it that it's mild, it is real silk. This silk used for needlework, and I am doing now also hook work. Hook work, we use twisted silk, because hook, it's more stronger. That's why we use this. This is also chain stitch. Using our traditional patterns, tulips, it means love. And when you see a lot of pomegranate, it means fertility, good luck. And this is our Bukhara work. In Samarkand, they do like this work, black and white colors. Bukhara is about colors, because we lived before in desert. People want to make their life beautifully. That's why they did beautiful colors, matching of several colors. But now still we keep this tradition and we are doing many colors. This one, cross stitch, the birthplace of Taimurlan is Shahrisabs. They do this stitch. I would like to tell you, each 200 kilometers they change their stitch.
Uzbekistan surprised me in the best way. Ancient cities, Soviet leftovers, friendly people, and so many stories woven into one place. Rahmat for the memories, Uzbekistan. If you're curious about more of Central Asia, check out my travel documentary through 4 of the Stan countries next.